Welcome to Hyères in the south of France for round 2 of the Sailing Energy series. Last month in Parma, for the first ever edition of this new short course format, we saw France's Marie Barrué and Germany's Philipp Buhl grab the big money prize at the end of their ILCA races. Today from Hyères we bring you more ILCA drama, starting with the women, then to the men, and rounding out the afternoon are the Nacra 17 catamarans. But first we caught up with some of the ILCA 6 stars, starting with India's Nethra Kumanan.
Yes, well, when going into Tokyo, it was the first time we qualified, and we had suddenly people knew what the sport was. People were asking me questions, which before, except for my close friends and family, nobody knew what the sport was. And for the first time, we had attention from media and all of these things. And it was a group of 4 of us who qualified that year, so it was a lot of attention, which was quite, I think, overwhelming at the time. So, a step forward 3 years to Paris, we had time to, since I'd already had that experience, the experience of the Olympics and all of that, since we'd already experienced that, I think I was able to go into Paris with more of a focus on the sailing itself.
Yeah, when I started working together with my coach, he goes, you have not been outside the top 8 for maybe 4 regattas in the last 8 years. So really, you're super really consistent up there, in the mix. So I think for me, I quite enjoy that. I'm happy to always be there and have a chance. And for me, I think my goal for the next couple of years is not to be in that mix, but to be consistently on the podium. So that's for me something that's really, a big goal, I guess, for the next couple of years. And I'm trying to look at it more as a challenge, more so than, it being scary or people expect me to be there. Obviously, it's hard because, I do expect myself to be up there as well. So, for example, in Palma, when the first day didn't quite go to plan, I was like, whoa, what if I don't make Gold Fleet? And it's this thought, I've never not made Gold Fleet. But what if, this is the time where I don't make Gold Fleet? So that was a thought that spooked a little bit through my head. And then I was like, don't be silly. If you don't make Gold Fleet, it's probably crazy racing or, something happened, which is fine. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So, I try to look at it that way, I guess.
Honestly, they're all scary in this fleet. We are not many people, so they're all scary. There is not one. I think anybody can win, that's for sure. Everyone has what it takes to win. The only pressure I feel extra is that I'm home, so I have a lot more support behind. I know there will be a lot of focus on me. This I can feel, but I'm used to it. Every year we come here, so I work with it with my psychologist. But no, everybody is scary. There is not one scariest person. How do I handle the pressure? Okay, that's going to sound a bit funny, but mostly is to be inside what I'm doing in the present, in the moment that I'm living now. And to reconnect when I'm on my boat, it goes through my feet. So I focus what I feel in my feet. If I'm hiking, it's the pressure under the hiking strap. If I'm downwind, for example, it's going to be the pressure I feel in my feet. And every time I think about this, it's helping me to reconnect with the present.
So here's the lineup for our ILCA 6 race. And we have Charlotte Rose from the USA, Maxime Jonker from the Netherlands, Nethra Kumanan from India, who we've just heard from, and Julia Büsselberg from Germany. Marie Barrué from France, just heard from Marie, and Marie Erdi, former world champion from Hungary. Zoe Thomson from Australia, multiple world champion Emma Plasschaert from Belgium. And we are just less than 10 seconds from the start of this ILCA 6 race and the beautiful bay of Hyères as the boats get underway. And on the far side, it's Maxime Jonker who wins the pin. And it's an early tack out for Charlotte Rose out to the right-hand side. We're on board with Emma Plasschaert from Belgium and Nethra Kumanan going out to the far side, trying to see what she can find on the right-hand side of the race course. It's a really short course today. a lot is going to be on how well you started, but it was a pretty even start for the fleet. Everyone got a pretty decent start. This is Marie Barrué from France, who we're looking at right now, and just to windward of her, Germany's Julia Büsselberg. And you can see it's pretty even right now. Charlotte Rose from the USA closest to camera, and just beyond her, India's Nethra Kumanan and Marie Barrué a little bit back. So Barrué, who won the previous event in Parma a month ago, struggling to hold on at the moment. Nethra Kumanan winning her side out on the right hand side, although just off to leeward of her, we have to remember Charlotte Rose also in play. Maxime Jonker from the Netherlands, of course Netherlands extremely strong in this class thanks to Marit Bouwmeester, most successful Olympic sailor of all time, and Jonker looking to follow in her footsteps. Barrué looking very relaxed there, but actually she does have quite a bit to do as she's struggling to hold her lane. So France's winner from the Sailing Energy Series a few weeks ago now tacking out behind the fleet, and two others tacking out. That's Erdi and Thomson. Erdi from Hungary, Thomson from Australia, and now Plasschaert tacking out to the left-hand side as well, with Thomson just to windward of her. Doesn't look like she can live there, so Thomson tacks away. And now Kumanan also tacking and almost lost her baseball hat in the process, but she readjusts that and gets back into play as they approach the red mark, the windward mark, just out of picture on the right of screen. Charlotte Thomson furthest left in our picture, still going pretty strong. Marie from France just going into attack, rolling away from Marie. Erdi, the Hungarian, also tacking. And there's a few lumps and bumps on this otherwise very flat race course, really flat water. Beautiful day here in the south of France. We're building up to Semaine Olympique Française, the second big event in the Sailing Grand Slam series, the 5-event series for the Olympic fleets. And this is a little bit of fun, the Sailing Energy Series, to showcase some of these sailors, show what they can do close up with these fantastic onboard shots. We're here with Emma Plasschaert, twice winner in the ILCA 6 class, 4th at the Tokyo Games, yet to get that elusive Olympic medal, but still working hard towards that. Charlotte Rose, we can see just ahead of us there, and here is the line of boats. There's a choice of windward marks to go around, but it looks like the bulk of the fleet are going to go around what we see as the left-hand mark. That's Germany's Julia Büsselberg, who'd like to tack, but she can't until Nethra Kumanan tacks. So the Indian sailor leading the pack around, followed by Zoe Thomson and then Julia Büsselberg from Germany, and it's really tightly bunched among this group. And right at the back of that group is Barrué from France, winner of the previous event, but this time with a lot on her plate if she's going to repeat that win and grab the €100 prize money at the end of this race. Kumanan just making some adjustments. Look at the pack on the left-hand side and look at that lone boat on the right-hand side. The only boat to go around the opposite of the marks at the gate mark is this sailor, Emma Plasschaert from Belgium, all out on her own, able to sail her own race with the French sun beating down on her. She's not thinking about that. She's thinking how to get maximum trim out of this laser, out of this ILCA 7. And hard to tell from this perspective who is doing well, but it looks like Plasschaert is fairly comfortable right now. Until we see the bottom of the course, we don't really know who's doing what. Zoe Thomson, the Australian sailor from a really strong Aussie squad, and Plasschaert reaching for the main sheet off the back of the boat. I don't know if that's a standard way of jibing. Normally you don't see sailors reaching towards the back of the boat to throw the parts of the main sheet across, because you've got to get your body weight a little bit further back than you would like to. But anyway, seems to have worked all right for Plasschaert so far. We're back on board with Nethra Kumanan still leading her side of the group, but it's really busy. It's a lot of traffic still for this pack, whilst meanwhile on the far side, Plasschaert still got lots of space around her. And she fully eases her vang, put a bit more fullness and twist in the sail, and boom, fully out at 90 degrees. Quite a lot of rocking, but that's okay. And there's a bit of a smile on her face there, and she's got, well, not that much of a lead, maybe 2 or 3 boat lengths, as Plasschaert jibes around the mark at the bottom of the course and then goes on to a reach. So the Belgian sailor in the winning spot right now, and she's already looking happy, but she hasn't got that money in her hand yet because she's going to have to reach out and grab it. And she's coming towards the finish line, and she is soon going to reach out and grab the 100 euros, and she does it. She grabs it first time. She's got the money, and look how happy she is. Emma Plasschaert, one of the most important wins of her great career, and possibly the most prize money she's ever won in her ILCA racing, 100 euros. Nethra Kumanan second across the line. Great sailing by the Indian sailor, just getting ahead. It looks like Germany's Julia Büsselberg looks like she's finished in 3rd place. That's Maxime Jonker. Even for those who haven't won the 100 euros, it looks like they've enjoyed their time out on the water in this Sailing Energy Series heat. A lot of fun for the sailors out there. Fun for us to watch and to get a little bit up close and personal.
Congratulations!
Yeah, merci Pedro.
Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, please tell me, what are you going to do with the money?
Well, last time Marie was our training partner and she took us out for dinner, so I think I might have to return the favor, or maybe,
Ooh.
spend it on some nice time with husbands.
Overall leaderboard for the ILCA 6s, there's the winner, Emma Plasschaert. Now let's move on to the ILCA 7 men, starting with our winner from Parma a few weeks ago, Philipp Buhl from Germany.
Well, the situation with the federation and myself lately was a bit complicated, but the goal is always to get back into it, and that is kind of fueling my motivation, yes. And recently with the regatta in Palma, I showed to them and to myself, I guess, that I still have the potential. I'm not too old, and there's plenty of examples, especially Robert Scheidt, I think, who has been way older than myself, and he has been competitive at the top edge of the fleet. So there's plenty of reasons to keep going a few more years and to believe in myself, and hopefully can prove this with other results, that also the federation keeps believing in me.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and I think it should be a learning process, really, like with the course, the format, the rules that are used, all sorts of things you can use to make it kind of both the best competition and the best viewing spectacle. And by having one small race with 10 boats, I think that allows you to choose the best conditions, hold the events in good places at the best time with the best weather, which are typically all the kind of things that mean that normally when you're trying to hold a big regatta, you're limited just by how big and clumsy a 200 boat fleet is.
I think it's sort of trying to embrace the fact that it's coming from a good point of view, that obviously, yeah, my success has been there. So people expect me to keep having that success, which is it's a nice pressure to have. I think I much prefer it that way than, yeah, not having results and then people still expecting you to finally get results after a period of time. So, yeah, I enjoy it. I embrace it, and yeah, it comes with some special things out in the fleet as well that you get a bit more attention. But yeah, again, that's just a byproduct of obviously being successful in the class as well.
And here's our lineup: Matt Wearn from Australia, Filip Jurišić from Croatia, Finn Lynch from Ireland, Martin Kowalski from France, Gonzalo Suárez from Spain, and Mickey Beckett from Great Britain, Lorenzo Chiavarini from Italy, Philipp Buhl from Germany, and we are just 10 seconds from the start of this race, and Philipp Buhl looks like he's a little bit over the line. Buhl having to turn back down in the middle of the course just to make sure he's not over at start time, which is now. And very good start from Mickey Beckett. I don't know if anyone was over. I don't see anybody called over, so it looks like it's a clean start. And Croatia's Jurišić already tacks away onto the right, and now Lorenzo Chiavarini from Italy also tacking, with Ireland's Finn Lynch moving onto the tack as well. So a lot of the fleet joining Philipp Buhl, sailing over towards the right hand side of the course. The bulk of the fleet on port tack right now. Jurišić just looking over his shoulder, looking around. Where are his competitors? Where is the wind? Where's my power source? And look at how even that line is. This could be anyone's game right now. And on the far side, just tacking, joining the rest, is the double Olympic champion from Australia, Matt Wearn. That's who we're looking at there. And he has to be one of the favourites based on his incredible pedigree in this class. Arguably the most successful Olympic sailor in the laser or ILCA 7, although I'm sure others like Robert Scheidt might have something to say about that as well. But 2 gold medals in the past 2 games. No one's achieved consecutive gold medals in this really competitive class. Lorenzo Chiavarini, the Italian, used to sail for Great Britain, but then switched to Italy and sailing very successfully for them. 9th at the last Olympic Games in Paris. Mickey Beckett, 4-time winner, 4 consecutive wins in Parma at the Trofeo Princesa Sofia. Just missed out this year, got the bronze. Matt Wearn got the gold in Parma a few weeks ago. So Matt Wearn, after a bit of time out of the class, going really well again. Finn Lynch from Ireland just getting across the starboard tacker, so there's a bit of nip and tuck going on here. Philipp Buhl rolling into the tack. Mickey Beckett going the other way. Finn Lynch just ahead of us, and we can see they're not far. Oh, there's a lot of tacking going on. More tacking from Finn Lynch there. Second in the Worlds just a few years ago at the 2021 Worlds. That's probably the high point of Lynch's career so far. Absolutely world-class sailor, but pretty much everyone in this fleet is world-class. It's a really tough fleet, but yeah, we've probably got the 2 most prolific sailors of recent times in this fleet right now. That's Matt Wearn from Australia and Mickey Beckett from Great Britain. 2 of the most successful, but a lot of good talent. Matt Wearn having to duck behind the Spanish sailor Gonzalo Suárez just there. Matt Wearn ducking a lot of boats here, so this may not be Matt Wearn's day. Philipp Buhl, winner just a few weeks ago in Parma. Is he going to be able to do it again? Well, Finn Lynch, his first round, his side of the windward gate. So far so good for the Irishman. Lorenzo Chiavarini jibes round. Matt Wearn just in the background. Mickey Beckett just in the background. So Chiavarini with a bit of a lead along with Finn Lynch. It looks like a bit of a match race between the Irish and Italian sailors on the far side. And Philipp Buhl is doing what Emma Plasschaert did in the previous race. He's decided to go around the far mark all by himself. Well, it worked out really well for Plasschaert in the women's race. How's it going to work out for Buhl this time? Remembering, of course, that he won this format. He won this equivalent race in Spain just a few weeks ago. So we know what Buhl can do, and we know what the incentive of a €100 note will do for the German sailor. But I'm sure Chiavarini's got something to say about that. He jives again. Matt Wearn on his wind shadow, but Matt Wearn's some way back. Mickey Beckett, a little bit of leeward heel on the boat. Looks like the sail's quite far in. I don't think that that's really what it looks like. I think it's partly an illusion of the onboard cameras. Mostly everyone's going to have their boom out at 90 degrees for maximum projection of their sail. There's Finn Lynch. Boom, not quite out at 90 degrees. Not quite there. But anyway, it's whatever he's doing, it's certainly working well. Gonzalo Suárez looking like he's having fun. Oh, actually, I don't know. Bit of a grimace there. Chiavarini looking around, looking for opportunities, looking to protect as well. From this angle, it looks like Chiavarini has pulled a little bit ahead of Finn Lynch. And remember, Lynch did actually get round the windward mark marginally ahead of Chiavarini. Some big jibes going on here. Nice jibe from Spain just then. Bit of a softer jibe from Jurišić. Matt Wearn really getting down over the top of Finn Lynch. So Matt Wearn has made some good gains down here, and Finn Lynch has been swallowed up by the pack. Now, what's Chiavarini going to be able to do? Has he got enough space? Yes, he has. He's actually managed to get round pretty comfortably ahead of the rest of the pack. And Finn Lynch hanging on to second place by his fingernails. But Chiavarini just a few moments away from grabbing that €100 note. And here's the moment. Is he going to grab it or is he going to fluff it? Go on, Lorenzo, grab the cash. Oh, just about held on to it. And look how happy he is. He kisses his €100. But that was nearly a bit of a fluff by the Italian sailor. Well done to Lorenzo. Matt Wearn just passing behind.
Okay, what are you going to do with the money?
Well, I'll take a gut out for a dinner and then have a nice steak.
Cool. Did you imagine this result?
Well, anything is possible in laser, but there was tricky conditions and everyone was fighting at the very top of the beat and all the way down, and so very tight racing as always.
Cool, mate.
That's why we do it. So
Nice.
thank
Well
you.
done, mate.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
So there's confirmation of our winner, Lorenzo Brando Chiavarini from Italy, Ireland's Finn Lynch in second, and Australia's double Olympic champion Matt Wearn in third. But we move swiftly on to the Nacra 17 catamarans, and we're going to start with Emil Järrud and Hanne Jonsson from Sweden.
We always find our way back through the fleet, even if we have a bad start or do a mistake. We always keep fighting, so it's probably our biggest strength.
Never giving up, which is a good strength. And we've also learned, now we've sailed for, is it 3 and a half
since 2022.
years?
So,
Maybe. So we learned each other differences, and we're quite different as people, but we're learning to handle each other in a good way and can support each other when it's tough situations in this, which feels very nice.
I have my family here, so it's super nice to have the family on the harbour and supporting us during this event. Yeah.
We know it's an important venue for the federation and the sponsor of the federation, so it's quite nice for us to be able to show them our sport. So it's an important moment.
And this has always been like that. What I'm saying is I don't feel it very different now that we have won the medal. I think that the pressure is always there. It's good that it's there. And it's the reason why we do it, because we care a lot about the results, but it hasn't changed after the games, really.
Maybe it's not pressure, the word. Maybe it's another feeling. I mean, we are always trying to do our best and try to push ourselves to be better. I mean, we are working. We know that we can work in a lot of things for the next campaign, for the next games. So I think it's the pressure in ourselves, not about the circle.
So that was Magdalani and Bosco from Argentina. Now let's look at our lineup, and we have Offerman and Hoopman from the Netherlands, Ferrezi and Zockling from Austria, Magdalani and Bosco from Argentina, and the other team we've just heard from in the interviews, Francis Muniak and Retornaz, Wilkinson and Stewart from New Zealand, Kurtbey and Kaynar from Turkey, Keskinen and Roihu from Finland, and our first interviewees just now, Järrud and Jonsson from Sweden. And very fast out of the blocks at the start of this season. The Swedes look like they've put in some great training over the winter because Jarud and Jonsson were making the running at the Trofea Princess Sofia, the first of the 5 sailing Grand Slam events on the Olympic circuit this season. And we're just coming in to the slow dance, trying to hold position, book your spot early on the start line, and then somehow, with very little space to do so, to be able to accelerate and launch off the line at start time. And it's looking very bunched up by the committee boat end. New Zealand 96 in a pretty decent spot there, but Argentina, our Olympic silver medalists, looking like they don't yet have a place to start. They are being blocked out by the rest of the fleet, whilst the Netherlands not even going for a starboard tack start. They're hoping for the best, hoping for a gap to open up behind as the fleet get going. And yes, it looks like Wilkinson and Stewart from New Zealand have got a great start on the far side, and also closer to our picture, the Austrians, Ferrezi and Zockling, doing very well. We're on board with the New Zealanders, on board with the Argentinians rather. Argentina going for attack? Yes, they've gone for attack. Eugenia Bosco out onto the trapeze and heading out to the right hand side. So a bit of a compromise start for Argentina. Netherlands just to the left of your picture, leading the slow charge out to the right hand side. We're on board with the French. Tornaz way up on the bow, trying to get the bow down and into the water as much as possible. There's so much differing position of crew positions around this boat depending on the wind speed and whether these boats are foiling or not. Well, right now there's no prospect of foiling in these light winds, so we're not seeing the Nacra 17 at its fastest or most exciting, but it's still a game of chess. And Emil Jarud looking back, just checking his main sheet tension. Jarud and Jonsson certainly in the hunt here right now, and Wilkinson and Stewart from New Zealand also doing very well in the middle of the pack. And on the far side, those port tack starters from the Netherlands doing pretty well on the shore side of the race course. Offerman and Houtman doing pretty well where they are on the race course. So trying to promote a bit of windward hull lifting on the Swedish boat, trying to go from what we call H2 to H1, and there you see the result. The Swedes just managing to lift the windward float out of the water. And so this is a little bit of a technique change by Jarud and Jonsson, and we'll see how that works out for them. You can see on the right of your picture there's more heel, there's more lean on that Swedish boat, and well, how's it going to go for them? Pretty radical, and this will be an interesting speed test to see if this difference of approach works for the Swedes, but they're being forced to tack over again. So just as they were getting into their H1 groove, they're being forced to tack over towards the left hand side again, and I'm not sure that that's what they wanted to do. I think they're being dictated to at this moment. But the Turkish team can't stay there, they're forced to tack away. And so now what will the Swedes do? From this angle it looks like New Zealand has the advantage, but that could be deceptive with these onboard cameras. I'm not sure we're getting the real picture. There we are on board with the Kiwis, and that's Stewart up on the bow. Kate Stewart, who's recently only taken up Nacra sailing in the last few months to join Michael Wilkinson, who got the bronze medal at the Olympic Games in Paris 2024. And wow, that's pretty radical by Eugenia Bosco, getting her body weight underneath the spinnaker chute. I haven't seen that one before. I don't know how conventional that is, but anyway, by any means necessary. It's all about getting the bows of the boat down in the water, lifting the sterns and reducing wetted surface area, reducing the drag through the water. And you can see these different colours across the water, slight variation in wind speed across the course, and that's what the sailors will be looking very carefully for. Looking for the darker water, looking for the dark water that indicates possibly there being stronger wind in that direction. Looks like Sweden are gradually getting the better of New Zealand. New Zealand going to struggle to live in that spot just on the windward hip of Sweden, and indeed New Zealand just going into attack now. And there's that attack from another angle. On board with the Swedes again. I wonder why they're not going for that attempt to get into H1 again, because the Swedes are back into conventional H2 mode like everybody else. So maybe they felt that experiment wasn't really working for them. But just to lure to them, you see two of the boats, New Zealand and another one I can't identify, with really a lot of H1 going on there. And you've got to think, wow, it looks good. Is it fast? It looks fast. The Argentinians looking carefully over their shoulder to see how the opposite side are getting on. But look at the heel in the to the right of picture of the New Zealand boat. Really radical sailing by Michael Wilkinson and Kate Stewart at the moment. And Sweden out on their own near to our screen, going along very nicely, but quite separated from the rest of the fleet now. This is either going to work well for them, or maybe they'll find themselves behind everybody. But now is the moment of truth as Sweden tack. And which side is Emil Jerud going to end up? He goes to windward, so not thinking too hard about getting that hull lifted. Yep, they are still in H2 mode. Just further along the track, pretty much in the middle of your picture, we saw the Dutch team. Remember, Argentina didn't get the best of starts, but they're still very much in contention right now. Back on board with Sweden. Winners just a few weeks ago, definitely been the form team so far in the early stages of this season. And this is a team, Michael Wilkinson and Kate Stewart, just getting used to sailing with each other, and they're also going out with each other. They're an item, and that's becoming a bit of a theme in the Nacra 17 class. The British and Italian teams that aren't on this race course also partners, so seems to make Nacra's 17s go fast, and that's certainly what the Kiwis will be hoping as well. Michael Wilkinson and Kate Stewart, not long as a partnership, but so far going pretty well this season. Looks like Sweden has made gains compared with New Zealand. Remember, they were pretty close, but on that last shot we saw that Sweden have made a significant gain on New Zealand. So it looks like the left hand side is paid, and now there's a nice bit of H1 sailing, and Eugenia Bosco trapezing off the side of the spinnaker pole, and all the gubbins in front of the mast of this Nacra 17, but now the breeze has dropped again. So even in these lighter winds, there's a lot of subtle body movement, real precision body movement required to make these boats go at top speed. But we're getting towards the top of the gate, and Sweden is looking good. Already Hanna Jönsson going for the hoist even before they got round the windward mark, and they are going round the left-hand mark as you look at them upwind. They're going out to sea, and looks like they might even be trying to promote a bit of full foiling. Will they be able to pop the boat up onto the foils? Because then they will be off and away, and this could turn into a big gain for the Swedes. Got that boat going beautifully now, and look how little wind there is. You can see that by how flat the water is, just a few ripples on the surface, and yet the Swedes have got this Nacra 17 fully foiling, and they hit a bit of a gust, and a bit of a gust can turn into a lot of acceleration, and that's why the big left-hand turn just then. Just getting up and running and getting moving. And this is the French. Morniac and Retournes just getting up to speed, and there's big separation, as you can see. Close to picture, it's the Swedes who we're focusing on, but on the far side there are some red Jenicas going up towards the beach side of the race course. But there isn't anything that is tempting the Swedes to go over and protect yet. Baresi and Zockling about to go into a jibe. They're back flat to the water. Will they be able to get the boat back up on the foils? Have they even been up on the foils? We haven't seen that side of the racecourse, but on the far side I see a red Jenica that looks like it's foiling. And meanwhile the Swedes have been constantly foiling all the way down this racecourse. They've yet to put in a manoeuvre. Looks like they're building up to that soon. Hanne Jonsson going in for the jibe. Emil Yerud following through. Now they're in H1. Are they? I can't tell if they're in. I don't think they've managed to they haven't maintained full foiling through the jibe, but they've maintained good speed. And will they be able to get the boat fully foiling? Yes, they will. So nicely executed jibe, and looks like they have stretched their legs on the fleet. These are the Argentinians, but they're in H1 mode, not into full foiling here. I think they're trying to promote it, and they're not far off it. And you can see Eugenia Bosco just putting in a bit of a jiggle with her legs just to try to pop the boat up onto the foils. And look at just how slowly the Austrians are going by comparison. And one of those boats back there is absolutely dead in the water. There's hardly moving. So the shore side of the course is not going at all well. From this angle, it looks like the Argentinians are making a gain on the Swedes. Are they actually going faster than the Swedes in closing the gap? Are they posing a sufficient threat? They look like they're just going a little bit faster, the Argentinians. So now the Swedish lead is looking a bit more suspect. And it looks like the Swedes are also having to sail up towards the angle of the Argentinians. So maybe the wind is shifting in favour of Argentina right now. Much more gentle movements on the Swedish boat. Eugenia Bosco uses more aggressive body movements to get the boat moving. It looks a little bit smoother. It also smoother on the Swedish boat. Smooth is not always good. Oh no, and as I say that, Hanne Jonsson, she's obviously heard me. She's putting in some aggressive body moves as well. They're only just managing to keep the boat on the foils. They are still on the foils. The Argentinians have dropped off the foils. So whatever gain the Argentinians have made, what's it going to turn into? And where is this bottom mark? Because that is the key question as well. We don't really know how Sweden is doing against Argentina until we've seen the position of that bottom mark. And that is a jibe. And it's a slow jibe. They're in H2. So depends how Sweden is going. Sweden not looking particularly fast right now either. So the wind has dropped for everybody. But there is the image that confirms that Sweden's still comfortably in the lead ahead of Argentina. And the gaps have really opened out on this downwind. It's about whether you could find the breeze or not. And going round that far side mark for Sweden, going out to sea, that seemed to be the right move for them. They were immediately onto the foils for the first half or even 2/3 of this downwind leg, but not much prospect of foiling now. Bosco looking pretty relaxed with her body stance, not looking like she's ready to get foiling or trapezing again anytime soon. And Sweden around the bottom of the course, and it's going to be a straightforward sail to the finish for Sweden because they've got a pretty decent lead yet to see the Argentinians go round that red mark, and it looks like Sweden, they're actually sailing high of the Finnish boat so they can do this quick bear away so that it's an easy grab for Hanna Jonsson. An easy grab, but no, she's missed it. Hand-eye coordination not working for Hanna on this occasion, so they're going to sail back and get it. And look what a lead they've got. They don't need to panic yet. No need to panic. You can sail back and get that €100 note. But no, Hanna Jonsson, she's so desperate for that €100. I didn't think that would amount to much when you convert it to Swedish currency, but she obviously needs that €100, and she's going to spend that, I'm sure, in a very profligate way this evening in the bars of Hyères, and they have the €100 note. Thankfully, they are made to be waterproof, the plastic notes, so don't worry about shredding the note as we might have done 20 or 30 years ago. Very well done to Jeroen Jonsson. Absolutely ended up dominating that race. Look at the massive lead now, because only now is Argentina, who looked like they were threatening for the lead at one point, crossing the line now. So the Swedes, here they are.
It was good. We made a bit of improvisation in the finish, because Emil teased me before the race if I practiced catching things, and I said, well, no.
The moment of truth, you have to jump into the water.
Yeah,
always anything for the win, I say, but it doesn't work.
What are you guys going to do with the money? Get a dry...
Well, first we will have a very nice crepe here after the sailing, and then we'll see maybe some after party. We'll see.
Nice, well done, congratulations.
So there's confirmation that Jeroen Jonsson are our winners. The Olympic silver medalists getting a silver here for Argentina in the Sailing Energy Series. And the bronze medalist, would you believe, from Paris 2024, also getting the bronze. That's Micah Wilkinson. Well done to our winners. And thanks to Ed Rousseau, Director of Semaine Olympique Française, for holding out the Euros. And to race officer Christophe Gaumont for an afternoon of fun racing with some of the world's best Olympic sailors. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.